Gulliver's Travels, Bleak House, Expressionism, Anatomy of Criticism, Romo or Clay. What am I saying? यही तो होंगे आज के questions. I told you the questions before even saying hello, hi, how are you? Is that fair? Not fair. Hello, how are you today? This is Heena from Team TES, and I welcome you in my session of question answer discussion to help you with the examinations of NET, SET, GATE. Well, these questions are from our beloved book, What, When, Why, How, brought to you by TES and Bodhi Publication. If you want this book, you can call us on this number. And shall we begin with today's session? I'm very excited. I have given you the curtain raiser. Let's begin with question number 1. Roman à clef is a French term that means your options are A, a romantic novel, B, a verse novel, C, a novel without an end, or D, a novel with a key. Roman à clef. Well, it is option D, a novel with a key. Now, what does a novel with a key mean? It's a novel which deals with real people but invented names. It deals with real incidents but disguised under fictitious events. Okay? बता रहे हैं सच्चाई लेकिन नाम किसी और का लेके. For example, there's a novel based on me, Heena. But the name of the protagonist is not Heena. It can be Neelam, Kanchan, Madhuri, anybody. So that becomes Romo a clay. Now, why is it called a novel with a key? Does the key means chabi here? No. The key means that answer key. वो जो key मिलती है ना question S के साथ, it is that key. So now in these novels, sometimes the author provides with an additional key at the back of the novel, or sometimes this key is actually implied with the epigraph or maybe through other literary techniques. Okay, that is why it's a novel with a key. And what is the meaning of this key? It's actually the relationship between the fiction and non-fiction. Now, let's come to some examples in English literature of those novels which use this Romo à clef technique. The first one is The Moon and Sixpence by William Somerset Maugham. Well, it actually follows the life of Paul Gauguin, who was a French artist. Now, second, few works of Aldous Huxley like Chrome Yellow, Antique, and Those Barren Leaves. All these three are satires of contemporary events. Now, third, Ernest Hemingway's work called as The Sun Also Rises is actually about his disguised life in Paris and also about his 1925 trip to Spain along with other famous personalities. And the last very famous example is The Animal Farm by George Orwell, which has political caricatures. Did you get it? Yes, you did. And let's move to question number 2. In Gulliver's Travels, Lilliput stands for, your options are A, England, B, Inferno, C, a dystopia, or D, anarchy. Gulliver's Travels. You know it. Well, Lilliput stands for option A, England. A little bit about this novel, Gulliver's Travels. Well, it is a 1726 travel narrative and a prose satire written by Jonathan Swift, who was an Anglo-English author. Now, it is such a classic novel that an English dramatist, John Gay, commented, quote, Gulliver's Travels is universally read from the Cabinet Council to the nursery. What did he mean by this? He meant that the world has read this novel. The protagonist of Gulliver's Travels is a person named Lemuel Gulliver, who was first a surgeon and then a captain of several ships. And he tells us about his 4 voyages to imaginary lands. Okay, can I tell you a little bit about these 4 voyages? You would really like it. Well, Lemuel Gulliver's first voyage was to the land of Lilliput, where he met tiny people. जो इतने छोटे थे, I think their height was less than 6 inches tall. Okay. After Lilliput, his second voyage was to the land of Brobdingnag, where he met giants. Okay. The third voyage was to places like Laputa. Laputa was a floating island where people carried flappers to hit. After Laputa, he went to Balnibarbi, where people were doing some weird scientific experiments. Balnibarbi connected with science. Then he went to Lugnag. Then he went to a place called Glubdubdrib, where the governor of this place had the ability to call back the dead. Okay, and he actually asked Gulliver whom he wanted to bring back from death. So Gulliver answered, call Alexander the Great, Homer, Aristotle, and Descartes. After Glubdubdrib, he went to Japan. And this was the end of his third voyage. Okay. And the fourth and last voyage was to the land of Hunihims. Now, what is Hunihims? It was a place as well as a race of talking horses. These horses were so intelligent, they were the rulers of this place. And in this place lived these uncivilized humanoids, uncivilized people who were called Yahoos. Did you understand? And finally, Lilliput here, it was actually an allegorical representation of England. Another question which can come is a neighboring country called Blefuscu. Blefuscu represented France. You got it. And let's move on to question number 3. In Anatomy of Criticism, Northrop Frye relates tragedy to, your options are A, spring, B, summer, C, autumn, or D, winter. Anatomy of Criticism, tragedy is related to which of these seasons? Your answer is option C, autumn. I really want to tell you something about this book. Well, Anatomy of Criticism, 4 essays, that is the full title of this book, published in 1957 by a Canadian critic called Northrop Frye. It tells us about the techniques of literary criticism derived from literature itself. Easy. Anatomy of Criticism deals with literary criticism derived from literature. ये तो tongue twister हो गया. Now, basically, there are 4 essays mentioned in this book. These essays are, listen to me carefully, historical criticism, ethical criticism, archetypal criticism, and rhetorical criticism. Historical criticism spoke about theory of modes, M-O-D-E-S, modes. Ethical criticism spoke about theory of symbols. Archetypal criticism dealt with theory of myth, M-Y-T-H, myths, while rhetorical criticism dealt with theory of genres, our genres. अब इन चारों में से, or out of these 4 essays, the most important is archetypal criticism, in which Frye categorized Western literature into 4 archetypes. Okay, he categorized Western literature into 4 archetypes in archetypal criticism. These are comic, romantic, tragic, and satiric or ironic. Okay? Further, he aligned these 4 into seasons. He aligned them with seasons. So he aligned comedy with spring, romance with summer, tragedy with autumn or fall, that is the answer here, and satire or irony with winter. Got it? Easy? Listen to it once more. It'll be super easy for you. And now, question number 4, a movement. Expressionism originated in, your options are A, France, B, Germany, C, Italy, or D, England. Expressionism. The answer is B, Germany. Now, Expressionism term was actually coined by a Frenchman, a French painter whose name was Julien Auguste Evray in the year 1901. He wanted to distinguish his painting from Impressionism, so he coined this term. But Expressionism became very famous in Germany around 1910 to describe that avant-garde art. अब आप बोलेंगे, what is avant-garde? We know it, right? Avant-garde means krantikari, unorthodox, experimental, radical. It can be used for art as well as artist. Okay. So Expressionism was actually opposite of Impressionism. When your feelings, when your emotional experiences, they matter more than the physical reality of the world. When subjectivity matters more than objectivity. When expressions matter more than Impressionism. When Expressionism matter more than Impressionism. That is Expressionism. And these artists actually called themselves Die Brücke in German, which in English means the bridge, because they said that their art will actually serve as a bridge to a radical future. But then, जैसे हर चीज का downfall आता है, expressionism was curbed by the Hitler Nazi party in the year 1933 when they actually called this anti-German movement. Oh God. And then it was curbed. But जैसे बोलते हैं हर रात के बाद सुबह होती है, same way around 1970s 80s Expressionism was revived in Germany by neo-expressionists. Neo-expressionists. Easy? Now, do you remember there are two American authors who have followed Expressionism quite nicely, extensively in their works? Who are they? It's Eugene O'Neill, very right, and Elmer Rice. You got it. And this takes us to the last question of the day. Harold Skimpole in Bleak House is a caricature of. Your options are A. Leigh Hunt, B. William Hazlitt, C. Charles Lamb, or D. Thomas de Quincey. Harold Skimpole is a caricature of. The answer is option A. Leigh Hunt. Well, a novel by Charles Dickens, which was initially published as episodes, as serials, and later it was published as a single book. Its central plot is around a legal court case which was called Jarndyce versus Jarndyce. And in, the words of Dickens, this Jarndyce versus Jarndyce was based on a real court case which was running from years, impending. It was like अभी तुमने कोर्ट में अगर केस किया है तो तुम्हारे पोते पोतियों को उसका रिजल्ट आएगा, तुम्हें नहीं. That is how it was at that time. So this is what it was inspired, Jarndyce versus Jarndyce was inspired by a real court case. Now, there are two narrators in Bleak House, you must know that. The first narrator is the heroine of the story. Her name is Esther Summerson, and she's the first person narrator, while the other narrator is a third person narrator. Okay? And out of all the famous characters in Bleak House, one of them was Harold Skimpole, who was a caricature of Leigh Hunt. And we are done. Done for the day. The questions from what, when, why, how. I will be back tomorrow. Now I'm going. See you. If you want your own book, you can contact TES on 93878-39871. And for the upcoming NET exam, if you want your online course, online quiz program with Kalyani ma'am, you can contact us on the same number. This is Heena from Team TES signing off. Bye-bye. Take care.